Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. I'm still sick, so if my voice sounds weird at any point, that's why I have COVID. But today's story time is a wild one, an absolutely insane one that I've been holding off to tell for quite a while, just because it's so crazy, and I was kind of saving it just for when it felt right. And I feel like it's the time, so I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. I really appreciate it. And let's get into today's story. So, today's story is about the time that I got arrested for using the deep web. Now, obviously, it's a little bit deeper than that, no pun intended. I'm pretty sure you're allowed to use the deep web without, going to jail, as long as you're not using it for anything illegal. But in my instance, I did do something on there that could get you in trouble, and you're about to hear about it. So today's story time all takes place when I was 16 years old. Now, when I was 16, I definitely was experimenting with different things, such as smoking a lot of weed. I definitely messed around a little bit with shrooms and acid at the time. You've heard about that on this channel before. But around this time, I was very, very, hell-bent on getting acid and tripping on it. I had done it before, but I wanted to do it again. And it was really hard to find at the time. Nobody that I knew had any. Everyone I hit up was like, nah, man, sorry, I can't get any. And I pretty much was out of options, and I decided to turn to the deep web, the dark web, to try and go on there and find some acid and order it to my house through the mail, which is pretty stupid for a lot of reasons, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I downloaded the program needed to get on the dark web. I got on there, and within like 10 minutes, I found the website to order acid and shrooms and all these other substances off of. And I went on there, and I placed an order for like 4 tabs. I had to buy it with Bitcoin, and I wish I held that Bitcoin because I'd be a multimillionaire right now, but it's okay. I bought it with Bitcoin, and I waited. And about like a week later, I got this package in the mail, and I had never gotten mail prior to that, by the way. Like, I almost never got mail at my house. So when I did, it was kind of a big deal. So when my parents saw that I had a package, they were really skeptical. And I remember they were like, Austin, you have a package here for you. Like, who's it from? And I had to lie. And I was like, oh, I ordered a new iPod player online. And I told them that I used my YouTube money for it because I got paid. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. So I took the package downstairs to the basement after it arrived. I got downstairs and I started opening it. Now, I'm not sure if the people that sell on the dark web still do this, but back then, what they used to do is if you bought, like weed, shrooms, acid, whatever, in the mail, they would put it with an item that's obviously very normal. So the package I got when I opened it was a 12-pack of socks. It was literally like gym socks, and the tabs were in the package of socks. So I opened them up, I found the tabs, and I put them in my pocket, and then I went back upstairs with the socks, and my mom was in the kitchen. Now, I tried to walk by her very quickly without saying anything, but she stopped me, and she was like, hey, let me see your cool new iPod player. And she walks over to me holding this box with the gym socks in it, and she goes, that's not an iPod player. Where is it? And I was like, oh, I think they got the address mixed up or something. They sent me this. And she goes, really? They sent you socks instead of an iPod player? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, huh, that's weird. Well, who's it from? And I lied. I was like, oh, Best Buy. And she was like, well, let me contact them for you. And she calls Best Buy up and says my name and my order, and there's nothing in their system about it because it didn't exist. And this whole time I kept begging her to stop. I was like, Mom, don't worry about it. I'll handle it. I'll email them. Don't worry about it. But she insisted on helping me. And when she found out there was no order record, that's when she got kind of fishy about it. And she was like, are you sure you ordered the right thing? You sure you didn't order these by accident? And are you sure it was from Best Buy? And I was like, yeah. And then she looks at the package, she grabs it out of my hand, and she sees that the socks have a tear in them. I opened the packaging the socks were in, and that made her even more suspicious. She was like, hey, if you didn't mean to order these, why would you open them? And she looks up at me, looking real concerned. And I was like, oh, I don't know, I just wanted to check them out. And she goes, you're lying right now. I know you're lying. I can tell. That's your lying face. And I was like, what? What do you mean that's my lying face? I don't have a lying face. She's like, yeah, you do. I swear my mother could work for the police department. I mean, the way she could just sniff out bullshit and just knew when we were up to something, me and my brothers, it's crazy. The minute she saw the tear in the socks, in the packaging, she just knew I ordered something through the mail that I wasn't supposed to. And right after I told her I don't have a lying face and that I'm not lying, she goes, let me see what's in your pockets. And I'm like, Mom, come on, is that really necessary? She goes, empty them now. So I take out my phone, I take out my wallet, I put it on the table. I was like, that's it. And she goes, what else you got in there? I was like, nothing. She goes, bullshit, show me. And I empty out my pockets. I like put them inside out, nothing. And she goes, turn around. And I turn around and she puts her hand into my back pocket of my jeans and she pulls out the tabs. They were wrapped up in like a little plastic baggie. And she goes, what do we have here? And she looks at me with just pure disappointment. And she goes, I can't keep doing this with you. I'm calling the cops. And she puts the acid in her jacket pocket and she walks out the front door to her car, gets in, pulls open her phone, and starts talking on the phone. To which I lose my mind. I'm like, oh, well, that's it. I'm going to jail. I remember I was panicking and I went into my room and I made a really quick 1-minute YouTube video. Like I recorded it. And I was like, hey guys, so I'm about to go to jail for buying acid on the deep web. I'll see you guys when I get out. And I literally made this like goodbye video and I was rendering it when the police officer pulled up to my driveway. So yeah, this cop pulls up. He comes inside with my mom. He walks in. He comes up to me in my room and he goes, Austin, come with me. And I get up and I walk over there. He turns me around, puts me in cuffs, and he walks me out my front door, like the walk of shame to the police car, puts me in the back, and we drive off. And my mom's crying on the porch. Like, it was a very emotional, shitty day, right? And after we pull out of my driveway and we start driving towards what I thought was the station, the police officer looks up in his rearview mirror, he looks at me in the eyes, and he goes, Austin, you're a real lucky kid, you know that? And I was like, why is that? I don't feel very lucky. He goes, I'll tell you why you're lucky. Your mom is a great person. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. Well, why do you say that? And the police officer goes, because she could have actually called the police and had you arrested and put in juvie, but instead she called me to show you what could actually happen if this happens again. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm her friend. You've probably met me before, but not in uniform. My name's James. Your mom's been tutoring my son for years. She's a great lady, and she needed a favor, so here I am. Yeah, she called up her friend James, who was a cop for our town, and had him come arrest me, but not take me to jail, essentially. So he ends up driving me around for 30 minutes and gives me this huge talk about how if this happens again, I'll actually go to jail. He'll come back and actually bring me to the station, and just like gives me this whole talk about how buying things through the internet is wrong, it's illegal, and he asked me where I bought it from. I told him, but I knew he wouldn't be able to find it because it's the dark web and it's not easy. But, you know, it was just very, very scary. But anyway, yeah, he drove me back home after this, unhandcuffed me, walked me inside, told me if it ever happens again, I'll actually be going to juvie, and that's it. And he walks away after that. And my mom thanked him, and after he leaves the house, I look at her, and I was like, you have a friend who's a police officer? She goes, yeah, I have a couple. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for not actually calling the cops. She goes, next time, I swear, Austin, I will not hesitate. Like, you will go to juvie. I was like, okay, I'll never order anything on the internet again. She goes, don't get that shit, period. Acid at 16? Like, are you crazy? I was like, okay, I won't. I did like 2 months later, but she doesn't know. But nah, for real, like after that, I was very careful, and I definitely laid low for a little bit. And moral of the story is, don't do any of the stuff I talked about in this story time, especially if you're a 16-year-old kid like I was, because it was really, really not a good situation, and it could have been way worse. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the story. I thought it was crazy. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Yeah, I get fans like every single day. Get cake till I'm dead and I'm knocking at the gate. Wonder will I land up, probably in the lake. If you got a problem, stand up and say it to my face. Mama always said I'ma be something great.